to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. It's the world famous Bottom of the Stream Movie Show.
It is indeed. How are you, Nick?
I'm good, and we're here. It's another week. We're going to talk about another movie.
We are indeed. This week we're talking about a Nigerian movie.
Yeah.
This movie is a product of Nollywood.
I'm so excited to talk about a Nigerian movie. I just love about this show that it can just take us anywhere.
Literally anywhere. I didn't even know Nigeria had a film industry, but apparently it doesn't. It's even got a name. So why not? Let's do one. This film we're talking about and the film we've watched and the film we're about to do the next hour of the show on is called The CEO.
Sure is.
The CEO was released in 2016. It is a PG-13. It runs for 1 hour and 45 minutes and is currently rated at 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 5.7. Thoughts?
It's interesting because I feel like the last few weeks, the last month or so, our movies have all been in this sort of range of IMDb rating.
Yeah, they have.
And I would definitely not agree that they're all a similar.
No, definitely not.
Movie.
Definitely
no, I'm not giving anything away yet.
Not yet.
But yeah, definitely not close to each other for me.
No, you're right. I agree with you completely. This film stars a lady called Angelique Kidjo. She plays Dr. Zara Zimmerman. Do you know who she is?
I do not.
She is a multi-Grammy award-winning music star.
Nice.
She's got 5 Grammys.
Oh, good on her.
She also appears on Band-Aid 30.
Oh, sweet.
And she appears on the soundtrack of Street Fighter the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, she's like a world-famous singer.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, she got 5 Grammys over the last 20 years. I think 2008 was her first one. She won one this year. Also stars a guy called Wala Ojo. He plays Cola. You won't recognise him, I don't think, but he was in Johnny English Reborn.
Okay. I have seen that.
So if you've seen it, you might have recognised.
I've seen this guy in a movie before.
There's quite a lot. There's a big cast in this. The only other one that I really recognised was a guy called Jimmy Jean-Louis. He plays Jean-Marc, Eloise's husband.
Yeah.
He is in The Grey Man.
Yeah.
And he's also in Pam and Tommy.
Okay.
But he's in Tears of the Sun as well, randomly. He's probably most famous. He was the Haitian in Heroes.
Yes.
So that's probably his most famous role. He isn't a main character in this film, but he was the one that I recognised, so I picked him out for my 3 to pick on. Written by Tunde Babalola, which is a great name, and directed by Kunle Afolayan.
Nice.
Again, you won't have heard of anything else they've done, I don't think. Do you have a one-word review of The CEO?
Business Battle Royale.
Yeah, that makes it sound a lot more exciting than it is.
Well, we'll get to that.
Where does this film start?
That's what it should have been.
That's what it should have been. The fact that this film's about people vying to be the next CEO of a big business.
Yeah.
Mobile phone company, I think.
Yeah. Telecommunications.
And as they're going through this process, they're getting picked off and murdered.
Yeah.
This film's a PG-13. That tells you everything you need to know about this film, I think.
There's a lot of off-screen happenings, that's for sure.
There is. I was expecting like a Saw type setup, and then I saw the rating. I was like, okay, I'm not.
I didn't even look at the rating, so okay.
Do you have? Where does this film start, Nick?
As a man running on a beach at night time.
There is indeed. He's not having a fun run. He's running away from.
He is
something.
being pursued.
Yes. And he's being pursued by the local police.
Yes.
And
he's soon arrested.
He gets captured and they arrest him. And then the next time we meet him, he's in a prison cell with a massive, great big dude who's being fanned by a little dude.
Yeah. This is not good. I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. This guy looks like a really interesting character.
Yeah, this big dude.
Like, yeah.
He's a monster of a man.
He was. It's like kind of, prison boss.
Shirtless prison boss.
Yeah, he's
7
got
foot tall and 500 pounds.
Yeah, he's just got these like harem of men around him.
Literally fanning him.
Yeah.
In this prison cell.
And unfortunately, we never
see him again. Because this is Cola, the guy who we've just met, and he is taken out of this prison cell.
Yeah.
And is interviewed by a police lieutenant.
Yeah.
A lady police officer. She can't use a PC, mainly because she's hitting the keys with the palm of her hand.
Yes. She's go through a lot of keyboards.
She must do.
She's like that.
And she's just whacking him.
I presume this was supposed to be for comedic effect because she just sort of shouts out to nobody in particular.
Bring me a typewriter.
Yeah, or like, why can't I use a pen and paper?
Yeah.
We've had to go electronic.
Yeah, it was a very weird scene.
It's 2020s, come on.
While they're talking, Cola says that he wants his lawyer, and she's like, "You can't have a lawyer. You haven't been arrested." Now, I'm pretty sure we've just seen him be arrested.
Yeah. We definitely saw him be cuffed and taken away.
Yes, so but you can't have a lawyer. So they sit down and chat whilst the title card comes on the screen whilst they're talking. She wants his story. She wants to know why he was at the beach resort. And he starts to tell her. So the rest of this film now, for the second week in a row, is a flashback. And it's somebody telling the story of this
Correct.
movie. He basically works for a mobile phone company in Paris, I think he said, and they're trying to take Nigeria as their next big location of where they want to set their phone company up. The CEO of, I can't remember what the phone company was called, I apologise. The CEO of that company has just retired or left or resigned or something. So there's the job opening for a new CEO.
He's the marketing director.
Yes,
Kola is. He's one of the candidates. We
start to meet the candidates for the next 10 minutes. It's pretty dull, but we need to meet them all, so let's get through it. Well, we go to Nairobi in Kenya. So we're globetrotting a little bit already. We see a man give some money to a gangster, and then suddenly we cut away from them and we're in the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, this is Jomo, and he's basically paying off his gambling debts, isn't he?
Yeah, so we meet Jomo, and it's the shortest scene I've ever seen of anything. He literally hands an envelope over, and then we cut to the next one. We're in Abidjan in the Ivory Coast, and there's a man in a wheelchair.
Yep.
And his wife is going on a trip, and she's going to leave him alone with her 2 kids.
She's going to attend what I've called the CEO Games.
Yes.
She's another candidate.
This is
Eloise.
Yes. So she says goodbye to her kids and her husband, and she heads out the door, and she's obviously off on this trip. They're all, like I said a minute ago, we're just meeting the characters at this point.
It's like they're all getting a golden ticket to go to the chocolate factory.
It really is. Then we cut to Paris, and there's a man in the airport. This is Ricard. He's heading to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
But then suddenly he gets a phone call and say, you're not going to Johannesburg now. You're going to Lagos in Nigeria, and you are in the running to be the new CEO. And this was the first he'd heard about it, and he's already in the departure lounge.
Yeah, he's already checked in for his flight
to Joburg, and now he's going to Nigeria. So he gets given a new boarding card, and we leave him for a bit. Then we go back to Lagos in Nigeria. We go back to the police station. The man's still telling his story. Occasionally we cut back to those two of him just telling the story to this police officer. And he says to the police officer, when was the last time you played musical chairs? And she said, the kids game. And he says, yes, I played it last Monday. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then the next thing we know, all of our contenders are on a boat.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah, because we also meet Yasmin.
We do. She's not important enough to get an intro.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
Yeah, she didn't get one. She's not important enough. So we've got Yasmin, Eloise, Ricard, Kola, and Jomo. Yeah. They're your 5 contenders to be the new CEO of this mobile phone company. A lot of them know each other. They're like, we've all met at corporate meet. They all work for this company.
Yeah, they're all. It's only Ricard who's
new,
joined in the last few months.
12 months, I think he said. So they'd never met him before, but they all know each other. They arrive at a beach resort in Lagos, and we get a montage.
There's a couple of really long montages.
This is like the longest montage I've ever seen.
Yeah.
5 minutes, maybe?
Like, it's a tourist advert for this beach resort.
Yeah, 100% is. You get the name of the beach resort, which I assume is the real name for this beach resort. There's a song going on over the top, and I think we hear the whole of it. I mean, it's basically just a settling in montage.
Yeah.
We find out all about this resort. We watch them all settling in. And it breaks out of the montage and leaves us with Eloise. And she's ringing her husband.
There's all sorts of banter. They're like, I think, again, trying to be comedy. One of them says to the other one, "Oh, you've only got 3 inches in your HR file, I mean."
Yeah. Yeah. So Eloise calls her husband. He's all miserable because he's been left at home with his kids. And he's in a wheelchair and he's not very happy. Jomo
Ricard emails his assistant.
Yeah.
Back in South Africa saying, there's no competition here. I've got this in the bag.
It's no problem. Jomo and Kola are having a chat, and Jomo's not confident. He's like, I don't think I'm going to get this role. I have left a big mess in Nairobi. A big mess.
It's like, if they start digging around,
I'm in trouble.
I am done for.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm worried about Ricard. He's like the boy wonder.
Yeah.
He's on the fast track.
Yes.
He's got to be the favourite.
He's going to be the favourite to get this job. That night, they have a bit of a party, all getting to know each other party around this beach resort.
Yeah, more montagey.
Yeah, there's all sorts of chats about, there's some tension between you and...
For a movie that's an hour and 3/4 long, I feel like I didn't make notes because there's a lot of this just business chat.
There's a lot of business chat. There's scenes with Zimmerman in a minute.
I was like, at parts of this movie, I'm like, I feel like I'm at work.
Yeah. I
feel like I work for this telecommunications company.
There are whole scenes in this film where it's like they're just talking about telecommunications.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is really boring. Yasmin and Kola have had some tension. There's something's happened between them in the past, we think. He doesn't think... Kola says to her, I don't think I've got a chance of getting this job. I'm just basically here for the holiday. But he thinks that she's got a good chance.
Yeah.
He thinks she's the favourite. And then she says, shall we dance? And they dance for a bit. The next morning, we wake up and Kola's doing some Tai Chi.
He is, yeah.
Mainly because he's got a nice body,
beach.
so he wanted to get that out in the film, I guess. Rickard, this bit is the first time I laughed in this film. Rickard's made an advert for the company on his laptop.
Yes.
And he's like, do you want to see it? And he passes it all around to him, and they all look at his laptop, but they don't ever watch anything on it. They just pass this iPad around the table, and nobody ever sees anything.
Kola instantly goes, well, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't use it.
But it's exactly like them over the road.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Not a single one of them watched that.
No.
It did make me laugh. And then we meet Dr. Zimmerman for the first time. She's been hired by the company.
She's a facilitator.
Yes.
Of this whole process.
This whole process of selecting the new CEO. She's been hired to list out their pros and cons.
Yeah.
And decide. She's not going to decide which is the best. She's just going to make recommendations of who is the best for this role. And she says self-elimination is the goal.
Yeah. She says, we're not eliminating you people.
We want you to drop out. Yeah. Let's have a game of musical chairs.
Yeah, icebreaker.
Yeah,
feels like a businessy icebreaker,
Yeah.
a conferencey type thing, to be honest.
I'm so glad I don't have to do anything like that. They do. They have a game of musical chairs. The five of them just wander around while this music plays. Zimmerman's got an assistant. She's called Lisa.
They play musical chairs wrong, by the way.
Do they?
Yeah, because musical chairs...
Yeah.
A game of musical chairs is you play until there's one person left.
Yes. Whereas they don't in this.
No, they just have one round of musical chairs.
As soon as one person's eliminated, they're the loser.
Yeah.
We don't have a winner. We just need a loser.
Exactly.
Yeah. Zimmerman's got an assistant. She's called Lisa. She's in charge of the music. That's pretty much all she seems to do in this film. Jomo loses, and then I've written in my notes, there's some waffle about embezzlement and collective responsibility.
Yeah, again, we actually
where...
sit in on Dr. Zimmerman's like, right, today we're talking about, fear versus respect. What's more important as a leader in business?
Yeah.
And then you literally, this is repeated several times throughout the movie. So one candidate will go, oh, I think it's fear because blah, 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 blah. And then someone else will go, no, it's respect because blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there thinking...
I don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. So I feel like I'm watching a corporate video at times.
When is the murderings going to start happening? That was my thought at this point. It goes on for ages, and they're just chatting about embezzlement and stuff. Mainly because Jomo's doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just lost the musical chairs. Nobody's supposed to know, but somehow he thinks...
Clearly, Dr. Zimmerman knows.
He thinks Zimmerman knows. He confides in Kola later on, because Kola knows as well. Yeah. And he confides that Zimmerman does know something she must do.
That session round table, that was...
aimed at me. She was looking at me the whole time. She knows something. Kola says, no way, she doesn't know anything. She's just been brought in to do this course. And eventually convinces Jomo of that as well. Yeah. He's like, yeah, fair enough, you're probably right. Because Kola says to him, if they knew anything, you wouldn't even be here. Why would they even be considering you for this role?
Sure.
Which makes sense. Kola then goes to Eloise. Kola's like the main star of this film. He's like in every scene pretty much. He tries to get Eloise to have a drink with him. He takes a couple of bottles over to her apartment that night. And she eventually, reluctantly, agrees to have a drink with him. And just like chat away because they've known each other before. And the next morning they wake up in bed together.
Yeah, they've...
Because why wouldn't they?
Done the naughty.
She's the one with the husband in the wheelchair.
That's correct.
She is absolutely devastated that she's done this. She's cheated on her husband. She's very much disappointed in herself. She kicks him out of the apartment.
And Kola's like, well, can't blame you.
Yeah.
It's me.
Look at me. She's absolutely devastated and ashamed of herself. She tells him to go, and eventually he does go. He leaves. And then we go back to day 2 of Zimmerman's course. We're back together. And she very nonchalantly reveals the fact that Jomo's dead, by the way.
He's not there.
Yeah, he's not there. Cola's like, oh, he's probably just running late. And she's like, no, he's dead.
Yeah, he went for a swim
Yeah.
in the sea.
Yeah.
And he's been washed ashore dead.
And everybody's like, oh, fair enough, let's get on with this. And I'm like, this is
And
not
she
real.
says, oh, and by the way, there's an audit underway into the Nairobi office.
Yeah, which Cola obviously knows something's going wrong. But did they not all take it very like...
They weren't bothered about this guy at all, no. No.
I'm like, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. We get a flashback of him drowning in the sea. I've written here, because this does happen, I watched this film with the subtitles on. There's a lot of different accents in this film.
There's a lot of languages.
There's a lot of different languages spoken. So it's classed as in English, but a lot of it you do need the subtitles for. The subtitles,
there's French, Afrikaans,
and they flick
Nigerian.
between all of them with like mid-sentence.
Yeah.
They'll start a sentence in English and finish in Nigerian. Zimmerman does it in French. She speaks English and then occasionally she'll speak to French. But when she specifically speaks French, the subtitles just go speaking French in brackets and don't subtitle what she's saying. And I'm like,
yeah, it was a tough one to. Must have been a tough one to subtitle this.
It was. I want to know what she's saying. That's why I put the subtitles on in the first place. It was very weird. And it happens all the way, only with her.
Yes,
and it's really weird. But she starts the lesson and she makes them play musical chairs again, because it's a good way to start a day. Apparently, this time Yasmin loses, and we have more business talk. And it's revealed that Zimmerman obviously knows something about Yasmin as well. It seems like Yasmin's been up to something as well. And this session's aimed, like Yomo's was yesterday, this one's aimed at Yasmin.
Yeah, it's about like working as a team versus cutting the weakest link.
Yeah. It doesn't go on as long as the day before, which is good. That night, they all suddenly realise that they should probably start mourning Yomo.
Yeah.
Because they're all standing around doing memories of him and talking about him and stuff. And Yasmin says, I think there's more to this retreat than meets the eye. And Zimmerman gives me the creeps.
Yeah, she says, I've not told anyone this.
Yeah.
But the company's been investigated by the Financial Crimes Commission.
Yeah.
And what I got from this was basically, she's been helping the government. She's kind of like an informer.
Yeah.
Onto some of the shady goings on at the company.
She says at one point that she cut corners on a merger deal. Because they were trying to merge with somebody else and she cut some corners. And that's why the current CEO's resigned.
Yeah.
But now she says she's talking to Cola because Cola's the main
I feel it's unwise that she's trusting Cola with this information.
Yes, because he kicks off a little bit at her and he's not very happy about her. But she says, look, the heat's off now.
I think we've got away with it.
The same as Yomo, I wouldn't be here if they knew anything about it. So I think I probably got away with it.
Which is quite interesting because it's kind of, since what's happened to Jomo, the conversation's flipped and it's now her saying what Cola was saying in the first conversation and he's now the one who's a bit like, I'm not sure about this.
So at that point, in that conversation, she says, the heat is off. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
If they knew anything about it. He says, meet me in my chalet in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She turns up at his chalet. She thinks she's been followed there. She's all paranoid. And then she says, I'm really scared I might be facing prison. Yeah. I'm like, but you've just said your heat's off and nobody knows anything about it. It's so disjointed. Because then we cut to Casablanca in Morocco.
This was a really weird scene. There was no... So this is Jasmine calling her brother.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm at this retreat. I don't think I can trust anyone.
Yeah.
Can you help? And I was like, oh, he's like some kind of gangster.
Yeah.
And he's going to send some heavies out to watch over her. And he basically just goes, what do you expect me to do?
Yeah.
I'm in Morocco. Just be careful.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
She says, can you take care of here for?
Can you take care of mum and dad? And that's the end of it. The next morning, Cola goes to her chalet and she's dead in bed.
Wrist cut.
The wrists have been slit.
Yeah.
So she killed herself, maybe? No.
Possibly.
Cola starts screaming for an ambulance. It's a bit late for that. There's blood everywhere. And the police lieutenant turns up in real time for the first time.
She's like, right, you three, I want to speak to you all.
I want to speak to you all later on.
And the course is cancelled for the morning.
Yeah, Lisa comes over and says, Zimmerman's cancelled the course. We'll see you at 2:00.
Yeah, pip, 2:00.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Cola's like, two people are dead now.
Well, she says, well, if you don't turn up at 2,
we're going to fire you.
You're off. You're not only off this, you're fired.
Then Eloise has a line which might be the worst piece of acting I've ever seen, because she just says, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, "Oh, do you think these two murders are linked?" Yeah. Just like that. And it's like, wow, that was awful, love.
Yeah, it is only equaled by one quite near the end by the police detective.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. She was terrible, though, this lieutenant. We cut back briefly to Kola and the lieutenant talking in the current day.
He's still like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And the police detective says, look, we found no investigation by the Financial Crimes Committee. We found no financial transgressions. We basically can't find any evidence to back up what you're telling us.
Yeah. She also says, at this point, I don't really understand Jomo's death either. I don't really understand what's happened. She accuses him of keeps changing his story.
This might have been the best scene, because there was a bit of good acting. She's very in his face, questioning him.
Yeah,
and he's
like, they're screaming at each other at one point.
Yeah, and he's just denying any involvement or knowledge of all this chaos going on around.
Yeah, because she's like, both deaths came after you spoke to the people. They're dead the next morning. Yeah, and then she outright says to him, "Why did you kill them?"
Yes,
she says to him, and then they shout a lot at each other, and then it cuts back to the resort.
Exactly.
Not the film we watched in season 2, unfortunately, and that's a terrible film. Back to Zimmerman's game. It's day 3. Eloise has finally noticed that whoever loses the musical chairs dies the next day. Somebody spotted that, but they decide to play anyway.
Yeah, of course.
And guess who loses?
Eloise.
Eloise loses.
She's like, I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. And she starts
but then they just carry on and do the session.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. This time we're talking about loyalty and corporate loyalty.
Yeah.
This is the lady, remember, who has just cheated on her husband.
Yeah, it's basically like, if you're an immoral person, can you still be a good CEO?
Kind of person who cheats on their spouse, be an effective CEO.
And Eloise is like, yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
I think I was like, no, it's a reflection of who you are as a person. Blah, blah, blah.
A cheat is a cheat no matter what. Eloise then storms out of the session. She doesn't want to do this anymore. She's not coming back. Kola calls him.
And Dr. Zimmerman literally turns to the camera and goes, Lisa, prepare for only 2 people tomorrow. I have a feeling, wink, wink, someone won't be showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Kola storms out as well. He calls Zimmerman a bully as he leaves. And he goes after Eloise. Kola says Zimmerman couldn't possibly know about what's going on.
Yeah. He says, I haven't told anyone. I won't tell anyone.
This is the third time Kola's had this same conversation. Eloise reveals that her husband not only is in a wheelchair, but he's also now dying of prostate cancer. Yeah. Because we need an emotional sideline in there.
And she says, look, I don't feel safe. Will you stay on my couch tonight?
Yep.
Can we stay in the same chalet?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
I don't want to sleep with you again, but can you stay in the same room? He's like, yeah, I'll go home, have a shower, get changed, and I'll come back.
Yeah.
Ricard, meanwhile, bumps into Kola. He calls Jomo and Yasmin, the 2 that are dead, cowards.
Yeah.
He's like...
And he basically says, it's down to me and you. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, Eloise is weak, so it's between me and you.
Kola goes back, does his ablutions.
Yeah, has his shower, gets changed.
And opens his laptop, and he is looking for some online evidence of the existence of Dr. Zimmerman.
Yes, he Googles Dr. Zara Zimmerman, and he gets 0 hits.
That's all the work he does.
Yeah.
No, there's no trace of her.
No, it's literally 0 hits on Google.
And then did he just fell asleep?
He fell asleep at his laptop.
So he wasn't drugged or anything?
No, he just
fell
dropped
asleep.
off.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't go back to Eloise's apartment.
Well, he does, but it's later.
Yeah, he wakes up later on. She's left him a message telling him to rot in hell.
Yeah, where are you? You said you were coming back.
Yeah. He goes to a room. She's not in her room when he gets there.
No.
But her laptop is open on a video. And the video is of them 2 doing the naughty earlier in the film.
It's their bendy sex tape.
But it's also an email that's been sent to her husband.
Yeah, I didn't pick this up.
No, I didn't either.
So I was very confused.
So he goes out to look for her because he knows that she's probably done a runner because her husband knows about this affair that she never wanted him to know about. He doesn't find her. And then he wakes up wet by the swimming pool.
Yeah, because he gets stun gunned.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that?
There's a shadow.
He's wet all of a sudden.
Standing by a swimming pool.
Right.
And then there's a shadowy figure approaching him. And there's like a buzz. And he goes, Ugh!
Oh, I didn't catch any of that.
And he's stun gunned and he falls into the swimming pool. And earlier on in the movie, he said that he can't swim.
Yes, he did say that. So he goes back to his room.
But he wakes up.
He wakes up
in the morning. And he's not in the swimming pool.
Yeah, he's wet by the
swimming pool. The cleaner's like mopping up around him.
Yeah.
And not helping the guy at all.
He heads back to Eloise's room, and she's there.
She's packing a case.
She's not dead.
Right.
She lost the musical chairs the day before, remember, but she hasn't woken up dead this morning. However, she reveals to Cola at this point that John Mark has seen the video.
Yeah.
And
she says, I'm going home to arrange my husband's funeral.
Yes. Because he was so devastated by seeing this video that he's killed himself.
Whilst watching it.
Because we get a brief view of him taking pills whilst he's watching this video.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be looking after their 2 children, he's not very responsible.
Well, she says, my 11-year-old son found him dead.
Yeah.
And presumably saw his mum's sex tape.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's going home, she's going to sort the funeral out, and then she's going to resign from the company. She's done. So she does, she goes home. So Cola's like, oh, fair enough, I need to go to this class.
Yeah.
So he heads over to Zimmerman's class, and there's only 2 of them there now, Cola and Ricard.
Cola tries a different approach. He says to Ricard, let's just both walk away. What the hell are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's only me and you. Let's go now. Let's make a pact.
Not play musical chairs.
Not going to take the job.
Not going to take the job. Just go.
Ricard refuses.
Yep.
He's like, I'm a winner.
Yeah, I don't
care what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah.
I'm staying, mate.
Let's play musical chairs.
Yeah.
So they do. The 2 of them play musical chairs. The music stops. Cola's right above the chair, but he does not sit down. He lets Ricard sit down in it.
Yeah, he does.
And he kicks it out from underneath him. Ricard gets up and says he's going to murder him. Cola says to Zimmerman...
Zimmerman's like, oh, God, you say that first.
Cola says to Zimmerman, how have you got no online presence?
Yeah.
You completely don't exist.
Yeah, because she's like, right, today's topic, industrial espionage.
Yeah. And Cola's not having any of it. Cola's done with this at this point.
He's throwing shade at everyone.
Yeah,
because he says to Ricard, hang on, you're newer than the rest of us. How do we know you're not a spy from...
the rival mobile phone company?
You've only worked for us for less than a year.
Yeah.
And then he says to Zimmerman, no, you could be a spy as well.
Yeah.
I can't find any evidence of you online.
Yeah. Literally nothing.
Who are you?
Who are you? And she says, I fly below the radar of the internet.
Yes.
It's quite impressive. Cola then leaves the...
He actually calls her out. He says, well, how do you get work?
Yeah. How does anybody... If you haven't got an online presence, how do people employ you to do this stuff?
She doesn't really answer.
She kind of smiles at him a little bit. Cola goes back to his chalet.
He's like, well, I'm out. I've lost.
I'm done. Yeah.
Don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it. Ricard can have it.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. He goes back. He gets asked to sign for a package that's come for Ricard.
Which surely would have gone to hotel reception.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
It's quite a posh...
It's a massive posh hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he does. He signs for this package. And then, as he's signing for this, he has some flashbacks of random scenes that Ricard's been in for the film that don't appear to have any consequence.
No, they basically... It's basically 2. It's one that says, oh, yes, I'm new to the job. I came from a rival company.
Yeah.
And then it's a flashback of on the boat when Cola said... oh, yeah, I can't swim. I'll drown in a bathtub.
Yeah.
And then he thinks, oh, my God. And then someone pushed me in a pool. Oh, Ricard must be behind all this.
Yeah, so all of a sudden now he thinks Ricard's in behind it all. So he starts packing his bags. He's going to go.
Yeah.
As he's packing his bags, Ricard comes in.
Takes him hours to pack his bags because he's still packing it at night time.
Yes, night and day changes quite regularly in this film. It does happen. Ricard reveals that he's been informally offered the job.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep that in mind.
Verbal offer, I guess.
He's had a verbal offer of the job, and he wants Cola to stay on his board, and because he doesn't want to have to watch his back. He doesn't want... If Cola's on his side, he doesn't need to worry about him being an enemy. Cola reveals the envelope that he signed for earlier is from the rival mobile phone company.
Yeah, your previous employer.
So he knows now that...
Ricard's like, oh, it's probably just like some residuals.
Yeah.
But he's badly lying, basically.
Yes, absolutely. That night, it's nighttime. We're in bed. Cola's in bed. Someone comes into the room.
It's the stun gun person.
It's the stun gun person. And doesn't try to make this one look like a suicide like they did the others.
Just stabs
stabs the bed to death. Although Cola's not in it.
Hey, he's done the old pillows
under the duvet trick. And he's waiting in the bathroom or wherever, and he grabs this person, tackles him to the floor, does the old Scooby-Doo reveal of pulling off the balaclava. Sure. And it's Lisa, Zimmerman's assistant.
It is. And she's like, I'm being paid by a client.
Yep.
I've been told to ensure it's the right result for them.
Yep. And because she was turning off the music on the musical chairs game, remember?
Exactly.
So she could control who would win that. She basically works for a rival, and they wanted a say in who became the CEO. And then she tases him and knocks him out.
She does. She manages to taser him again.
And then Ricard comes in because it's 3:00 in the morning and he's come for a visit.
Why not?
Why not? And Lisa is trying to escape. She stabs him.
Yeah. It's sort of just to get away, basically.
So she tries to get away.
He's blocking the door.
Yeah. Just as she stabs him, Cola wakes up as if he's never been stun gunned in his life. Runs after her. She flees. He stops to help Ricard a little bit by putting a tissue under his stab wound.
Yeah, he does call the authorities, but he's less concerned with staying with the victim and ensuring his well-being than he is by following the criminal.
Yes,
because that's the decision he makes.
Yeah, he runs after Lisa. He eventually catches Lisa. They have a fight.
It's really weird because they go through some trees and it looks like, oh, he's lost her.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden we're on a beach and he's right behind her.
Yeah,
it was just quite a funny cut.
Yes, absolutely. And then this film completely loses itself.
And they roll down a hill, which isn't really a hill.
Yeah,
into the surf.
Yeah, they're in the sea.
Yeah,
and he's trying to drown her in the sea at one point. And then this film just loses itself up its own arse a little bit now because 3 Chinese men appear
in suits. Yeah.
On a massive
2 men
yacht.
and a woman.
He's in a massive yacht in the background that's just moored on the beach. There's no Chinese subtitles. They're just speaking Chinese, but we can't. It doesn't even attempt to tell you what they're saying. They tase Lisa at this point.
They say that she's failed them.
Yeah,
basically, it's Mr. Cheng and his henchmen.
Yes, and so they tase Lisa. Cola goes to run away, and then we cut back to the police station. And we're like, okay, so and Cola says that's when you came along and arrested me.
Yeah. And the police detective says, again, we can't find anything that corroborates this.
Yeah.
We can't find her body. We find no evidence of Mr. Cheng or these Chinese other people. Men. Yeah.
The massive yacht that was there is not there anymore. So the lieutenant says the least you're going to get is a triple murder charge.
Yeah.
Who's...
On what evidence?
Yeah. 3 people are dead. You're going to get charged with all 3 murders, but there's no evidence. Someone then comes into the room, whispers in the lieutenant's ear for half a second, maybe?
She just goes, well, it's the first time in 28 years my gut's been wrong.
You're free to go.
Yeah, see you later.
I don't know what this guy said to him. But basically, Ricard has woken up because he was in a coma because he'd been stabbed in the side and has corroborated Cola's story.
Yes.
So that's enough for the lieutenant. It's not only enough for her to, change her thoughts. It's enough for her to close the case and let him go.
No other questions.
Yeah, I'm done with this now.
This raises more questions.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
You may go home.
And then they go outside
to
this beachside police station and she goes, just one more thing.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a connection between musical chairs and this job?
What was that all about?
We're like, yes, that's the whole
point of this film.
The worst police detective. We've seen some bad ones.
Played by pretty much the worst actress as well. She was the worst thing in this. Just as he's leaving the police station and we have that terrible scene, Zimmerman's going into the police station to give her statement.
Yeah.
Even though the case has been closed.
Yeah.
And nobody really cares.
Didn't want to speak to her before.
No. Didn't want to speak to her before. It's not going to keep Cola until Ricard's at least given a statement.
No.
And she says to Cola as she's walking past, you should learn to swim. Because a person may not always pull you out of